Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today we are going to be talking about my Ribble Endurance SL. Let's get right into it. So Ribble is a British bike manufacturer that I actually want to say that they're the oldest bike manufacturer in Britain. But something that sets them apart from a lot of other brands is they are pretty much fully online and they are custom order bikes. So you're able to choose the group set that you want on it, the paint that you want on it, the tires you want on it, the wheels, the pedals, the handlebars, pretty much everything. I'm just going to go down the list of what I've done to customize this bike. And I got my bike in 2020. So yeah, it's pretty much the same as every Ribble Endurance SL that you'll find. So mine is the caliper. There is a disc set for brakes. There's also a few variations. So there is a R version, which, yeah, rated R, is a race-focused bike. Just a few different things that are done to the frame, but pretty much it is the same bike. I was more interested in the endurance side of things because when I buy a race bike, it will most likely be a triathlon-focused race bike, which Ribble does sell. If I look over here, it's because the bike's over here and I'm just looking at it. But let's get into the specs of this bike. So like I said, this is a Ribble Endurance SL frame, and it is the extra large frame. I do regret not going with the large frame and going with the extra large instead, because it is slightly too big. So I should have gone with the large. Luckily, I am able to change some things up so that I'm able to make it fit me better, correctly, and still make it a good ride. As for the group set that's on this bike, which is probably the thing that most people are interested in, I have the R7105. It is a 11-speed group set, and my rear set on this is an 11x32, and my front chain rings are 5236. So I have a decent range. It's a little bit more climbing focused than other bikes, but with having the 52 tooth on the front, I still have enough power in the straightaways that I'm able to get going and keep moving pretty fast. The brakes and the levers are also 105. The length on my crank arms is 172.5. I just like them at that length. That would be completely different for each individual who wants to ride, but that is what I find works best for me. Staying up near the levers, the bars are a Level product, L-E-V-E-L. So I don't know all that much about Level, but I know that Ribble is the one who uses their products on their bikes. The bars, the stem, and the bottle cages are all made by Level, which I had never heard of before I found Ribble. It seems like that is just the products that Ribble uses for their bikes. The bars themselves are alloy and they're 44 centimeters and they're a little bit wide. I think I'm going to be changing them out for like a 42. Just the way that my shoulders sit, I like having my hands directly in front of my shoulders, and 44 is just a little bit too far to the outside. They have 125 millimeters of reach and 75 millimeters of drop, so they are at the correct distances. They're just a little bit wide for me. As for the stem is a 100 millimeter stem, and it is a 7-degree stem, meaning that there is 7 degrees of angle on the back section that actually intersects with the fork tube so that it holds the stem itself perfectly flat. That is another kind of personal preference, but I think it also just looks the best when the stem is perfectly flat across instead of angling up a little bit towards your handlebars. As for the seat that is on this bike, this is a Physique Antares saddle. It was the upgrade that I wanted on this bike. They have other saddles that don't increase the price at all, but the one that I wanted was a Physique one. I had never owned a Physique saddle before. My friends haven't owned Physique before, so I was very curious to see how it felt and ride on it. And it's a decent seat. Looking back now, I don't know if I would have spent the extra money on it, but as a whole, I think it's a pretty good seat. I will say that I have found it actually more comfortable to ride on the Project Bike seat, which was like $35 from Amazon. So I'm not really sure what that says about my butt, but that's just the way that it feels to me. So take that as you will. Another nice thing about this bike that's actually what drew me to it is kind of the arrow shape of the frame. So everything is made with D-shaped tubes. The front forks are much more bladed as opposed to some of the other models of bike that Ribble sells being a little bit more rounded. So the D-shaped tubes have a better aerodynamic efficiency, and so that kind of just makes the bike more aerodynamic overall. And that also goes even into the seat tube. So the seat post that's coming down off the seat into the bike, that is also D-shaped. And so there is an internal clamp that is affixed to that instead of a normal clamp that would be kind of around the seat post and squeezing on the back of it. This is a internal thing that pushes down on the seat post and holds it into place. As for the headset cap, that is a custom headset cap, not really custom, anybody could have got one, but that was from a Trek challenge that existed on Strava, and it was 100 miles, and so I got that cap. I also got a mug, but yeah, so that's the cap that's on it. It came with a plain black one, but I liked the way the copper one looked a little bit better, so that's what we went with. The pedals that I have on the bike are nothing fancy. They're called like exhaust star pedals. They run on the Look Keo system. I picked them up at the local bike shop for like $5, which I really couldn't pass up on that. So those are what's on there currently. I do have another set of Look pedals that I am thinking about changing onto the bike, but I haven't done it yet because these are how I like them for right now. And with the race coming up in the beginning of August, I don't want to change anything that's on the bike at the moment. So while there were a lot of things that actually drew me to Ribble as a bike, the one that I didn't expect to like so much but have actually come to love is the custom paint option. So they have a custom color that you're able to do. And so you can choose 2 different colors and do like gradients and stuff. And so that's what I did with my bike. It's this teal into black, and I just love the way the fade looks. And I think it makes it stand out a little bit from other bikes that you see that are pretty much as you choose them. And you can go with like some ridiculous yellows and purples, and you can make like cotton candy looking bikes. Whatever your cup of tea is, there's a colorway that you'd be able to set up. They also have a random color generator that you can click on that and it'll just choose the colors for you. You're able to choose the bike color, the gradient color, the logo color. So like the actual down tube logo, you can change that color as well. And you can make some pretty ridiculous looking bikes using that color picker. As for the wheels, they are Mavic Axiom 19 wheels. They're a 700C wheel. They have like 25 millimeters of dish to them. So they're not very deep, but they're a good training wheel, and eventually I'll get another set of wheels that are more race focused, probably in like the 50 to 60 mil range. But for right now, they're perfect. So yeah, the tires are Continental Ultra Sport 3s. They are the wire bead design. Yeah, I like the way they feel. I like the way they ride. And yeah, they're what I put on all my bikes. So how do I like the bike? Well, to start off with, it took me 4 months to actually get the bike. So I ordered it end of August last year and then did not get it till end of November. Was a little bit worried that it was going to be turning into a Christmas present. So that was in the middle of COVID, so shipments were not happening. They were also pre-orders on the bike, so I had to wait a little bit of time for that. And then when you do the custom color, that also adds on time. So I was not so patiently waiting for my brand new bike to show up. And then when it finally did show up, I assembled it on FaceTime with Brian on the other side and then left for vacation right after it. I think it was actually Thanksgiving. So left for vacation and did not get to ride my bike other than like one short lap around the parking lot because it was freezing. But once the bike was all together and I was finally able to ride it, I could not believe the difference coming from the steel frame that's hanging behind me to this carbon bike. So this is a fully carbon fiber bike, which means that it is much more rigid, and as soon as you are putting pressure through the pedals, the bike is moving. There is nowhere near as much give as a steel frame has, which is nice when you're getting started up, but then you might be thinking, well, on like longer road sections, don't you want there to be a little bit of give? And due to the way that it's laid up, yeah, there actually is. It will flex with the road and provide you a little bit of cushion while you're riding, which that little bit of cushion is more than enough to make the ride comfortable. So the longest that I've actually rode on this bike for is about 50 miles. I have a possible 100-mile ride coming up this summer, but so far 50 is the top that's been. I'd say on average we do about 20 miles when going on a bike ride. So that bike gets plenty of usage and enough distance that I am able to say that it is comfortable over a longer period of time. It's hard for me to suggest another bike brand when I know the value option that Ribble has because of the ability to customize your bike to what you're looking for. Because if you're looking for like an Ultegra group set, you have the option to upgrade just the group set on the bike without having to upgrade all of the other stuff. Knowing all of the customization that Ribble has, I would highly suggest it to anybody who is looking to get a bike, especially if you want to customize a bike as far as you're able to. I could not be happier with the purchase that I made. I spent time with it on the road, I spent time with it on the trainer, and it is a great bike that I think is often dismissed due to the fact that it does not have Trek written on the side of it, Canyon written on the side of it, or Bayer written on the side of it. It's not one of those big names that everybody kind of knows, and so it often just gets forgotten about. But it is a great way to get a bike that is exactly what you're looking for. Well, that's all I have for you today. That is the review of the 2020 Ribble SL Endurance bike. If you are interested, Ribble will be linked below so that you can peruse their catalog of mountain bikes, gravel bikes, road bikes, and even aero bikes. Or you can go all the way to the Triathlon and Ultimate TT bikes. So whatever you're looking for in the biking world, Ribble probably has a version of it. So I would highly suggest checking out their website. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked what you heard. If you have a question about the bike, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And as always, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't. And if you have, make sure to hit the little notification bell that's beside it, which will notify you every time a new video comes out. But thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.